Trump's Boogaloo Boys are disguising themselves or embedding themselves in Black Lives Matter protests and shooting at the police. Seriously. I mean, has the Trump Civil War already started? Check it out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. So, do you remember what caused the National Guard to show up in Minneapolis after George Floyd was murdered by the police there and people started coming out in the streets and protesting? It was during a protest, somebody firing a gun into the police department while there were people inside the police department. That provoked the National Guard. And then what provoked the breaking of windows? That was a guy smashing windows, they called him Umbrella Man, with a crowbar or a baton of some kind at an auto parts store. Well, we learned a few weeks ago, maybe even longer than that, that Umbrella Man, the guy who was smashing the windows, who started the whole looting thing, was a right-wing provocateur. And now we've discovered who the guy is who was shooting into the police station. This by Andy Mannix over at the Star Tribune, the Minneapolis Star Tribune. In the wake of the protests following the May 25th killing of George Floyd, a member of the Boogaloo Boys opened fire on Minneapolis Police 3rd Precinct with an AK-47 style rifle and then screamed, "Justice for Floyd," as he ran away. And keep in mind, this is a white guy who wants to start a race war in America, a racially based civil war. He's 26 years old. He's from Bourne, Texas. He went all the way from Texas to Minneapolis to try to start his war. This was on May 27 and May 28. According to charges, he was wearing a skull mask and tactical gear. He shot 13 rounds at the South Minneapolis Police Headquarters while people were inside. He also looted and helped set the police building on fire, which caused Governor Tim Walz to activate the Minnesota National Guard. And everything kind of went downhill from there, which is exactly why this guy did this. His name is Ivan Harrison Hunter. And 2 hours after the police precinct was set on fire, Hunter texted with another Boogaloo member in California, a man by the name of Stephen Carrillo. Now, I'm giving their names because there's a storyline here that you need to follow. So Hunter sets fire to the police department, fires 13 rounds into it with an AK-47. And then he sends a text message to Stephen Carrillo in California and says, "Go for police buildings." And Carrillo replies saying, "I did better, LOL, laugh out loud." Because 3 hours before Carrillo got this text message from Hunter, Hunter having just fired into the police building in Minneapolis, 3 hours before he got that text message, Carrillo had just shot and killed a federal police officer in Oakland, California, protective services officer. And then 5 days after this, Carrillo shot and killed a sheriff's deputy in Santa Cruz when people were trying to arrest him. And then he stole a car and wrote "Boog" on the hood of it in his own blood. But it gets worse. So Hunter, who's corresponding with this guy Carrillo in California, among others, goes back to Texas after shooting up the police station in Minneapolis. Because, he's a white guy. Nobody's going to suspect him of anything. He can get on a plane. He can drive anywhere he wants. The police don't stop him. He goes down to Texas, and the police pull over his truck because there's 3 guys in it along with him wearing tactical gear and carrying guns. And they thought, maybe we should check these guys out. Hunter was in the front passenger seat. He had 6 loaded banana magazines for an AK-47 in his tactical vest. The officers found an AK-47 style rifle, 2 AR-15 rifles in the rear seat of the vehicle, a pistol next to the driver's seat, and another pistol in the center console. On Facebook, Hunter, the guy who shot into the Minneapolis Police Department and basically started Trump is running around going, oh my God, look at this. They're setting police stations on fire. They're firing at the cops. It was the right-wing domestic terrorists doing this. The white guys on Facebook, which has become a cesspool of right-wing, hate and conspiracy theory. I mean, it was just last week, or maybe the week before, that Zuckerberg finally said, okay, no more Holocaust denying. Really? For years, Facebook has been nurturing these guys. And Hunter on Facebook wrote, I helped the community burn down that police department, that police station. I didn't protest peacefully, dude. Want something to change? Start risking felonies for what is good. And then he says, the BLM protesters in Minneapolis loved me. He referred to himself as a terrorist. He is the third member of the Boogaloo Boys to be charged in Minneapolis, just in Minneapolis. Meanwhile, there's a new guy who, Kyle Rittenhouse went up to Wisconsin, right-winger from Illinois. His mother drove him up to Wisconsin with his AK-47 or AR-15 or whatever it was, so that he could kill a couple of people, which he did. I shouldn't say so that. I doubt his mother thought that he was going to kill people. But what do you think when your kid is going with an assault weapon to a protest? But in any case, there's a new guy who's going to be fundraising and asking for money online among, Trump supporters. And this guy's name is Treisman. Alexander Hillel Treisman. And he was arrested in North Carolina in a van carrying 4 rifles, a handgun, an explosive, and a bomb-making manual. He also had over $500,000 in cash. Huh? $500,000 in cash? And why did they arrest him? Because he had just posted online, should I kill Joe Biden, ? Back in May, Treisman, this guy, was in Joe Biden's neighborhood. He was eating at a Wendy's within 4 miles of Biden's home while conducting a search for Biden's address. This is from Mark Sumner over at the Daily Kos. The title is Plot That Brought Would-Be Assassins to Biden's Revealed as List of Violent Threats Grows Longer. After he was at Biden's place, he went up to New Hampshire and stopped at a gun store to buy a new AR-15 and inquire about night vision goggles. But even more recently than that, last Wednesday, 41-year-old James Dale Reed was arrested after threatening to kidnap and kill both Biden and Kamala Harris. He was arrested because he had given someone a note who had a Biden sign in their yard. We are the ones with those scary guns. We are the ones your children have nightmares about. You'll recall just 2 years ago, Cesar Sayoc, another Trump fan. These are all Trump fans, right? Another Trump fan, this guy living in a white van down in Florida, was arrested after sending 16 bombs to people that he thought were critics of Donald Trump, including one to Joe Biden and one to Kamala Harris. He was sentenced the same week that Patrick Crusius drove to the El Paso Walmart and killed 22 Hispanic people. And that same week also, Connor Betts killed 9 people in Dayton, Ohio after leaving a Twitter message that said, quote, millennials have a message for the Joe Biden generation, hurry up and die. This is I don't think any of this stuff is getting anywhere near enough attention in the press. Now, I get it that the corporate media, the mainstream media, is the story that they're running off. And, and I remember being in the news back in the late 60s and early 70s when we were asked by the IRS and the local state police not to cover an anti-tax protest. I get it that the media doesn't want to encourage this by talking about it.